Hello everyone, my name is Zero and welcome to Anything Geek, where you can enjoy your weekly good news about the One Piece card game. OP05 reveals are still going strong, so we have a ton of cards to go through today. And the first one is gonna be Monet. Monet is a green character, 3 costs 1000 power from the Don Quixote Pirates. A blocker and unblock rest up to one of your opponent character with a cost of 4 or less. Very nice blocker because you can potentially rest your opponent's character that have yet to attack if your opponent is not careful enough attacking with those first. So it's gonna be a very interesting blocker to play in green. Next up we have John Giant, 8 costs 10,000 power, Giant and Navy counter 1000. Not much to say about this, just a vanilla card, 8 costs 10,000, so very late game and try to push for game with this card. Next we have Mr. 1 Das Bones, 1 cost 1000 power, Baroque Work counter 1000, and on your opponent's attack once per turn, Don -1, play up to 1 Baroque Work type character with a cost of 3 or less from your hand, and this one is very interesting. It's very interesting because we have the blue-purple crocodile from OP01, which is a Baroque Work archetype. So you could potentially take out all your former Baroque Work cards and add this to the mix. And since you can target a cost 3 or less from your hands, you can go and recycle a ton of cards, including himself from OP02, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how you can use this in the future. Still in purple we have Chopperman, 2 cost 3000 power, animal, Straw Hat Crew counter 1000, and on play if you have 8 or more Don on your field, set up to one of your character with 6000 power or less and the Straw Hat Crew type as active. I haven't really looked at it yet, but I feel that this card might be very good in a deck using the Luffy leader from the starter deck 10, but also the Luffy purple leader that's coming with OP05. Let's not dwell too much on it though, because the next card we have is Onami, 1 cost 1000 power, Straw Hat Crew counter 1000. If you have 10 Don on your field, this character gains blocker. So of course this is a card that is primarily used at the end of the game, and to be fair, I'm not sure that this late in the game, especially with a purple deck that's gonna minus Don on my field, I'm not sure that I really want to have an optional blocker that's only gonna have blocker if I keep those Dons on the field. So we're gonna have to see about that, if it's gonna really be a useful card in the future. Next we have a new card from a new archetype. It's gonna be St. Charles, 3 cost 0 power, Celestial Dragon, plus 1000 counter, and during your turn, if all your character have the Celestial Dragon type, all of your opponent's character get -4 to their cost. Very good combo with the Navy deck, of course the Tenryobito being protected by the Navy constantly. This could be potentially huge for black, but that also means that you have to have an all Celestial Dragon board, otherwise you cannot activate this effect. Be mindful of that when building a deck with this card. And I talked about this during one of my previous Kudo news. Hotori, 3 cost 3000 power, Sky Island, counter 1000, and on play you may play 1 Kotori from your hand, add up to one of your opponent's character with a cost of 3 or less to the top or bottom of the owner's life card face up. Kotori was obviously already revealed, and we already assumed that this was gonna be a thing, that Otori was gonna come our way sooner or later, and it seems like you can actually have a decent combo with them, because Otori allows you to play Kotori and add 1 character with a cost of 3 or less to the bottom of the owner's cards face up. So you already have that effect, but then Kotori takes another effect on play, which is if you have Hotori, which you do because you played it first, you can KO up to one of your opponent's character with a cost equal to or less than the number of your opponent's life cards. Otori helps you potentially boost the life cards of your enemy, that's true, but Kotori helps you KO a character of your opponents on the board, which if you gave him more life, you have more possibilities to KO more characters. But bear in mind, you're not going to be able to KO big characters with that, because you would have to give your opponents a ton of life to be able to do that. So that's more for removing character on the board early game. But I personally think that this would be a very fun and cool mechanic to use to have fun in a yellow deck. And next we have yet another card to prove that that Red Revolutionary Army is gonna be broken in OP05. Revolutionary Army General Headquarters cost 1 Revolutionary Army. Activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand and rest this stage. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Revolutionary Army type card, add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. We do not have stage removal. This is a free searcher. Yes, you have to trash a card from your hand, but who cares? When you play a deck and you build it, you mostly have 4 copies of a single card in your deck. If you have 3 Revolutionary Army Headquarters in your hand and 1 already on the field, you can trash those and you have a free searcher that's literally unremovable from the board. Very strong. I think this is gonna be the new meta when OP05 hits. This is gonna be Red Revolutionary Army, kind of the equivalent of what we have now with Whitebeat, but only maybe with Dragon. Maybe Dragon Leader is coming our way. And we continue with stage because green is actually getting 1, and this is gonna be Birdcage. Cost 5 Don Quixote Pirate. If your leader is Don Quixote do Flamengo, all character with a cost of 5 or less will not become active during both players' refresh phase. That already is like very useful and very good, I think. And another effect is end of your turn, if you have 10 down cards on your field, KO all rested character with a cost of 5 or less, then trash this stage. For 5 costs, you can play this and you can pretty much get rid of like all the early and mid character on your board. That's a lot of damage. If you play this right, you can clear your opponent's board with ease and it just costs you 5. That looks very interesting to me. Now we have yet to see if this is gonna be useful because the meta is gonna be dictating if this is gonna be relevant or not, but to me this is already like very interesting to play and include in green deck, especially if you try to build a Doflamingo deck because we have a leader that's coming, so this also might be really fun to play. But we also have a little blue love with the next card, which is an event. Let us begin the World of Violence. 5 cost for Emperor Animal Kingdom Pirates. Main effect, if your leader is mixed color, draw a card, then return a cost 5 or lower character to its owner hand. And a trigger, if your leader is mixed color, draw 2 cards. Kind of help with board control, so that might be useful, but you're still spending 5. Now you have a trigger which is draw 2 cards, so that might be also interesting to take into account. But I have to say for now I don't really see this as very useful. We never know, this might come in handy sometime soon. And another event, this time in purpose. When you're at sea you fight pirates, 1 cost, 1 or country. Main effect, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew Kid Pirates or Hurt Pirates type cards and add it to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order, and a trigger, activate this card's main effect. This, I feel, is clearly intended to work with the ST10 because you're gonna have Straw Hat Crew, Kid Pirates and Hurt Pirates in the entire deck. This is the concept of it. I feel that this card is specially there to boost the starter deck 10 with the 3 leader, which are Luffy, Kid and Law, and I cannot help but feel that they planned this ahead because you really have the 3 tag on these cards, and usually you're not like using mixed tags in your deck, you're just blocking yourself into 1. So yeah, this is also gonna be very interesting to see like what are they gonna do with this mechanic. They are gonna like try to make you build a deck with several tags instead of just 1. You could have a concept that's the Straw Hat Crew deck or Katakuri deck, which is the Big Man Pirate deck. Now you're gonna have like mixed things in your deck, and this is gonna still be relevant. Very interesting, and also very telling of the future of this game, which is still gonna be interesting. So next card is again a stage. It's Upper Yard, cost 1, Sky Island, and on play look at the top 5 card of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with the Sky Island type and add it to your hand, then place the remaining card at the bottom of your deck in any order. This is a stage searcher for yellow, primarily for Sky Island archetype deck. This is good. I mean, mean, when you play a searcher, it's usually a one cost, like the one cost Nami from OP01. You play it, that's a non-play event, and then it did its thing. Now, you can potentially attack with your searcher in a pinch, like try to boost them and have multiple attack going to your opponents, but that's a very niche thing, and yeah, you can move that to a stage, and it's not gonna like prevent your board or your leader to attack anyway. So that's kind of a new way of doing card searcher in your deck. And next is a black stage card that goes actually with Saint Charles we talked about earlier. Holy Land Marie-Joise, cost 1, tag Holy Land Marie-Joise, of course. During your turn, the play cost of a Celestial Dragon type character card that costs 2 or more that you play from your hand is reduced by 1. That's gonna be useful for you to play all your Celestial Dragon type cards, because you can always reduce their cost by 1, so you can actually take this into account when you build your deck and try to make the cost curve of your deck a bit more relevant and use bigger cards earlier in the game. That might be very useful for black especially, but we have yet to see other Celestial Dragon type cards, but I'm sure we're gonna get to them in a few weeks. We'll have the full sets and we'll see then if this is really relevant to the game's future. But for now, let's move away from cards revealed last week and go to a bit more of general news about the game. Bit of a spoiler warning for this next news, so if you're not caught up with the anime, just skip ahead. Good. Japan has finally get their hands on the promo Luffy card that's 10 cost 12,000 purple character Luffy Gear 5, but to get their hands on this card they actually had to go to Hokkaido to the Summer Festa and fill out a survey to get their hands on the cards, and I really hope that they change this when they're gonna promote this card over here, because not everybody can afford or is able to go to an event potentially like in other towns or maybe other country sometimes to get their hands on the promo cards, and I fear that this is gonna be an excuse for the secondary market to skyrocket the price of these cards if Bandai doesn't make sure that they can provide this card to any player, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. And we also had an errata for one of the brand new cards that they've announced. It's the Zoro promo yellow that we talked about in the previous good news. And the errata just concerns the tagline for the cards. It's actually not just Straw Hat Crew, it's actually Wano Kuni and Straw Hat Crew. So they just went and made a public announcement for this. This is basically what this screen here says. The tag was previously only Straw Hat Crew, and now the new tag is Wano Kuni / Straw Hat Crew. And as we get close to the 11th of August, we also have the release date of Starter Deck 8 and 9 that's coming closer and closer, and I suggest you should pick those decks up, because for black we're gonna have a leader Luffy that's gonna mix things up with our black leader that we currently have, and that's always good. And we also have the yellow Yamato deck, which is gonna bring us some very interesting cards that we can potentially add up to our category deck. And this is exactly why I'm always concerned that they bring promotional cards to event-only distribution. We had the promotional Luffy, the kind of kid Luffy that you see on the screen right now. We had that card offered at player at Gen Con. That's actually the same distribution method as what they did for the promo Luffy that I talked about earlier in this video. You actually had to go to the event and fill out a survey to get your hands on these cards. Now, to be fair, there was 4 cards given to players, and this was kind of a set, so the 4 cards for all the 4 cards gained, and I really hope that they move away from this method of distribution, because some players are just not gonna get them, and that's kind of sad, but still it would be nice to have an alternate method of distribution. And since we're closing into OP04, they've actually started the showcase reveal of the physical cards from OP04. Remember, OP04 is scheduled to release in September, so from August through September to the release date, we're gonna have showcase of cards in the set, primarily the alternate art and SRs and good stuff. And they've started with VV, which I say it right now, this is an absolute chase for me. I've got the tattoo, not only for that, but also for the fact that the leader is actually interesting to me, so I really want to play this, and if I have the alternate art, all good for me. They then also showed Don Quixote do Flamingo. This is also very cool, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Don Quixote family, so if this is one of your favorite character, by all means, this card is sick, it's very cool. That's definitely something that you could chase when opening boxes, and if the pull rate is just as good as we had here in OP03, you could potentially get your hands on this, but you still have to hope that you pull for it. And the last preview showcase that they did last week was for Isho of the Navy, with Sakazuki yelling in the background, as Sakazuki tends to do. And rest assured that we're gonna have all the other leaders and special cards from the set, SRs and secrets, as the week goes on to the release of OP04. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching, and if this video was at the very least entertaining to you, please leave a like, it helps me really much. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to never miss anything geek. Bye guys.